This month, a Boston nonprofit plans to open the largest Latino arts center in our region. Inquilinos Boricuas and Acción is based in the city's South End, and for decades, IBA has served families through arts, education, and housing, and that includes its annual Festival Betances, a staple in New England's Latino community. And soon, the organization will begin welcoming people unlike ever before.
We are at La Casa, the Center for Arts, Self-Determination, and Activism.
There's a new place to call home in the heart of Boston's South End. This month, Inquilinos Boricuas and Acción, or IBA, will open the doors of its 27,000 square foot community hub on West Newton Street.
This new space is IBA's new casa, new home for our programs, our services, and our administration. But more importantly, this is now the largest Latino arts hub in New England.
IBA CEO Dr. Vanessa Calderón Rosado gave me a tour of the beautiful new space. The four-story, $33 million facility offers endless opportunities to gather.
This space is expected to be open to the public constantly, 7 days a week, that there will be events and activities and meetings and gatherings happening all the time, from housing to education, to financial services, to resident services, and the arts. It'll be here.
The center is an experience from the moment you step inside.
On the first floor, we have this beautiful new mural that was done by a local muralist that really shows the history of our community and brings all the elements of what this community represents into one wall, full of color, full of movement, full of action.
The building offers galleries, classrooms, community meeting rooms, even a rooftop deck. And the centerpiece of La Casa is the main performance space called Gene and Tom Yawkey Hall.
You can open the doors and have indoor-outdoor events at the same time.
La Casa also pays tribute to the past. It features restored stained glass windows from All Saints Lutheran Church, which used to stand at the site.
So we're really honoring the past, really building in the present to move into the future with La Casa.
Calderón Rosado says La Casa realizes a dream for the Latino community, and she believes it's opening at a crucial time.
Even in a moment like we are right now, that a lot of our people in our community feel under attack, this will be like this beacon of hope, this beacon of activism, of arts, in which our community can really shine and really come together to continue to make wonderful contributions to our city, our state, our region, and the country.
After years of construction and community engagement, Calderón Rosado says this month's opening feels surreal. Her hope is that La Casa lives up to its name.
People will feel that they've come to a space in which they're welcome, in which they feel seen and heard, and in which they can bring their families and their children and grandchildren to experience culture, to experience their roots and history, and to build a strong community.
Isn't it beautiful? La Casa opens to the public on May 15th, and throughout opening weekend, they'll have art classes, music workshops, and dance fiesta, and more. Well, Oedipus el Rey opens at the Huntington Theatre in Boston this month, and the production is a reimagining of Oedipus Rex, the Greek tragedy from Sophocles. The play is set in Los Angeles and combines ancient myth, modern urgency, Chicano pride, and a lot of humor. Joining me now, we have Loretta Greco, our Huntington Artistic Director, also the director for this production, as well as actor Javier David. Thank you both so much for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we were talking about this during the break. This production looks incredible. So Loretta, let's start with you here, because this production really flips the script on a classic tale, bringing the myth from ancient Greece to the streets of Los Angeles. Walk us through, for folks who are not familiar with this kind of production, what the story's all about.
Well, it's Oedipus, but it is reimagined between North Kern and Pico Union, the barrio in LA. And what Luis Alfaro is a genius. So you get his beautiful poetry, you get his raucous sense of humor, and you get his Chicano swagger. So the text itself is really chewy and meaty. But the very special thing that he does that is unique is that he brings Yocasta into the center of the story. In the Sophocles, people come out and tell us about Yocasta. She's back in the house. We learn most of it through other people's mouths, and he puts her right there. So it's kind of a prequel. We see how Yocasta and Oedipus meet, how they fall in love. So Luis somehow takes this Greek tragedy and he flips it on its head to create a love story that we're all invested in.
I like what you said, kind of a prequel. Interesting to say. And Javier, I know you wear a lot of hats in this production. Talk about some of the roles you play and how your character kind of steps into it all and tells the story.
Sure. I play El Sobador and the leader, I would say, of the coro. And as a coro member, we're playing many different parts of the community, the barrio. And it's truly a wonderful thing to do, and I feel as if what I bring to it is cultural forgive me, authenticity,
authenticity and grit and muscle.
Yes.
Love that.
And since I'm a proud Chicano, I'm from California, I'm from these areas, and so stepping into these roles, I really I've grown up with them, and my physicality and everything I've learned as an actor allows me to play them well.
Beautifully said. And Loretta, I know a big theme of the show and this idea of destiny versus fate. You're kind of hoping the story plays out one way, and then you suspect how it's supposed to end. How does that kind of, tug of war sit with the audience?
Well, it's interesting because right from the beginning, the coro sets up sort of the rules of play, and one of them is we can laugh together. We can laugh in the most unlikely places together, and we must laugh together, right? So it's interesting, but there's so few real tragedies produced anymore. And the thing about them, and this idea of, you asked about destiny and fate, is Luis frames the play in the prison system, and he looks at what is it about the cycles of inequity and trauma and violence that perpetuate both the prison industrial system, but especially the Black and brown bodies and the recidivism rate. So looking at how is one fated, what is one's destiny, can one transcend one's destiny, lives inside that framework. And I think audiences find it incredibly meaningful and really grow from considering it. The coro starts by asking us to consider this man, and the consideration, the invitation to think about the many facets of fate and of prophecy sort of play throughout the whole evening.
And you know what, you mentioned it, Javier, what commentary does the show make about, modern systems, institutions, and how do you feel about stepping in to kind of share that message?
Sure. I mean, as its core, I would say that this play speaks on themes of many things, the system itself and how it's failed many people, particularly in this case, Black and brown communities, which is, I think, extremely relevant in the situation, the times that we're in. It talks about the cycles of we inherit as these people, whether it's violence, family, legacy, and really it invites the audience to take on those themes and to consider them and think about them, and especially now in these moments.
Absolutely. Something we have to talk about here, because you don't often see an all Latino cast on stage for a production like this. This is major. What has your experience been like being part of this production team? I'm curious, playing with them on stage and performing, and behind the scenes.
Sure. It's been one of, if not one of the greatest part of this experience. Being able to tell this story is wonderful, but being able to do it in a room with a community who understands is another thing. You don't typically get that in the American theater, and so having that family and community that truly understands where you're from, where you're coming from. Literally the second day, we already had jokes and names, and we're making fun of each other. It's truly been an incredible gift to work with these particular talented group of folks.
And that kind of connection really can translate on stage,
Absolutely.
you know?
Absolutely.
So it's
No
really
doubt.
special.
Absolutely.
It's really special.
Yeah. What do you hope, lastly, I gotta ask you this, what the audience takes away when they come in? Because it is an intimate setting. They're right there with you when you're seeing this production. What do you hope that they leave with?
Yeah, I hope that they leave with a more nuanced sense of the Latino community, of Latino men, of what it is to think about those big terms we use like catharsis. I hope they feel cathartic. You know, it's like a great production of Romeo and Juliet. You know how it ends, but if it's a good one,
right,
you lean in and you want it to end differently. But one of the things that's beautiful at the end, the epilogue, and Javi does this so gorgeously, is to say a man is not the worst thing he's done. A man is, we should think of the great things that men do and consider all of the input. And I hope people think about Luis and Luis's work.
Yes.
He hasn't been done in Boston, and to be able to have these Latino communities tell these beautiful stories is so important. So I'm hoping that it'll be contagious.
Absolutely. Loretta, Javier, thank you both so much for being here, and continued success.
Oh my
Thank
God,
you
thank
so
you
much.
so much.
Hope to see you
Absolutely.
there.
Oh, I'll be there. By the way, you can catch Oedipus el Rey at the Huntington now through June 7th. You can find information about tickets on our website.